In travel news, for July 9th, 2024, we talk about planned strikes by unions at Paris airports on July 17th, potentially disrupting travel just before the 2024 Paris Olympics, as workers demand bonuses and better conditions amidst broad sector unrest. Barcelona residents are protesting mass tourism, highlighting the strain on living conditions and housing costs, with demands for reduced tourist numbers and stricter regulations on accommodations and cruise ships, and Hurricane Beryl's impact on Caribbean tourist destinations, including significant damage in Grenada and Jamaica, with ongoing recovery efforts aimed to restore normal operations in affected areas. But before we begin, I'm Brandon with the Adept Traveler, an award-winning travel agency that makes travel so easy. Even a blind traveler like myself can do it. And now, today in travel. With the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics just around the corner, multiple unions representing workers at Parisian airports have announced plans to strike on July 17th, sparking concerns about potential travel disruptions. The strikes are due to a dispute over staff bonus payments and working conditions. This action is set to occur just one day before athletes start arriving for the Olympic Games, posing significant challenges for travelers. The unions are demanding that all airport staff receive an Olympic bonus and additional resources during this busy travel period. According to reports, they are protesting against unilateral decisions by the chief executive to pay bonuses to only some personnel. With Charles de Gaulle and Orly airports serving as the main entry points for international visitors and athletes, the strike could have significant implications. Up to 350,000 people per day are expected to pass through these airports during the Games, including competitors who will have checked most of their sporting equipment as luggage. Back in May, unions operating the two main airports in Paris had staged a strike, which did not cause major disruptions. However, the upcoming strike coincides with the Olympic Games, increasing the potential for chaos. In a similar recent incident, a strike by air traffic controllers at Orly resulted in the cancellation of over 70% of flights during one weekend, affecting thousands of passengers across Europe. The Olympic Athletes Village is set to open on July 18th, with thousands of athletes arriving from that date. A new temporary terminal at Charles de Gaulle has been established to accommodate oversized baggage such as kayaks, bikes, and pole vaulting poles. Airport workers are not the only ones feeling the pressure and demanding extra compensation. Across France, unions representing various public sector employees, including police, firefighters, air traffic controllers, garbage collectors, metro rail and train drivers, and central government employees, are all making similar demands. The timing of the Olympics is being used as leverage to pressure employers into meeting their demands to avoid disruptions. Even workers at the National Mint, responsible for the producing of the Olympic medals, have gone on strike. However, management has stated that the production of these coveted prizes has not been impacted. The strike announcement comes shortly after the leftist New Popular Front unexpectedly secured the highest number of seats in a snap election called by France's president. The New Popular Front election promises include a hike to the minimum wage and meaningful salary increases for public sector workers. As the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics approach, the looming strike at Paris airports threatens to disrupt travel plans for countless visitors and athletes. The dispute over bonus payments and working conditions reflects broader tension across various public sectors in France, all vying for better compensation during this major international event. Travelers planning to transit through Paris airports during this period should stay informed and prepare for possible delays and disruptions. Protesters in Barcelona have taken to the streets to voice their discontent with the impact of mass tourism on their city. On Saturday, thousands of demonstrators marched through popular tourist areas, spraying visitors with water pistols and carrying signs that read, "Tourists go home" and "Barcelona is not for sale." This demonstration, organized by the Neighborhood Assembly for Tourism Degrowth, is the latest in a series of protests across Spain, highlighting the growing concerns about over-tourism. According to Barcelona City Council, approximately 2,800 people participated in the protest. The demonstrators argue that the influx of tourists has significantly increased living costs and put immense pressure on public services. Official figures show that nearly 26 million visitors stayed overnight in the Barcelona region in 2023, contributing about 12.75 billion euros or $13.8 billion to the economy. However, the Neighborhood Assembly for Tourism Degrowth contends that these economic benefits are not evenly distributed, leading to greater social inequity. In response to these concerns, the group has published 13 proposals aimed at reducing the number of visitors and transitioning to a more sustainable tourism model. These include the closure of cruise ship terminals, stricter regulation on tourist accommodations, and ending public spending on tourism promotion. The mayor of Barcelona has already implemented several measures to mitigate the impact of mass tourism, such as increasing the nightly tourist tax to €4 or $4.30 US, and limiting the number of cruise ship passengers. Additionally, the mayor announced plans to end short-term rental licenses by 2028, which could help make housing more affordable for long-term residents. Despite these efforts, the mayor has faced criticism for allowing high-profile events such as a Louis Vuitton catwalk show and the upcoming America's Cup sailing competition, which some argue exacerbate the problem of over-tourism. The discontent in Barcelona is mirrored by other parts of Spain, with similar protests in the Canary Islands and Mallorca. Locals in these regions have voiced concerns about the environmental damage and displacement caused by excessive tourism. The issue of over-tourism is not unique to Barcelona. Cities such as Amsterdam and Venice have long struggled with the challenges posed by a large number of tourists. The common sentiment shared by many residents is that they have nothing against tourism, but the effects of over-tourism are making their cities unlivable. Spain, as the second most visited country in Europe after France, saw 85 million visitors last year, marking a 19% increase from the previous year. The protests in Barcelona highlight the ongoing struggle between the benefits and drawbacks of mass tourism. While the influx of visitors boosts the local economy, it also leads to rising living costs, strained public services, and a diminished quality of life for residents. As the debate over sustainable tourism continues, cities like Barcelona must find a balance that preserves the well-being of their communities while accommodating the interests of travelers. Last week, Hurricane Beryl struck several Caribbean nations, causing widespread damage and disrupting travel plans. As the region recovers, it is essential for travelers to stay informed about the current conditions and how the recovery might impact their travel. In Grenada, the island of Caracas was particularly hard hit, with 98% of buildings damaged or destroyed. The island is facing significant recovery challenges, including restoring electricity and communications. However, the main island, including the capital, St. George's, escaped the worst of the storm and remains operational. The hotel sector in St. George's is open for business, and cleanup efforts are underway to ensure the area remains welcoming to tourists. Jamaica's southern parishes of Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth were heavily damaged by Hurricane Beryl. These areas are currently focused on recovery efforts, cleaning debris, and restoring essential services. Major tourist areas, including popular resorts, were largely spared from the worst impacts of the hurricane. Many resorts have already reopened and are functioning with backup power generators, providing comfort to their guests as normal operations resume. Barbados experienced minor damage from Hurricane Beryl, primarily affecting the southwest shores. The majority of hotels and visitor accommodations across the island report no significant damage, and cleanup operations are already in progress. Tourist areas remain largely unaffected, allowing visitors to continue enjoying their stays with minimal disruptions. The Cayman Islands reported no injuries to residents or visitors and only minor impacts from the hurricane. All three islands are conducting cleanup operations, and tourism infrastructure remains intact. Visitor accommodations are operational, ensuring that tourists can continue their plans with confidence. Hurricane Beryl's impact on the Caribbean underscores the region's vulnerability to natural disasters and the importance of effective recovery efforts. As tourist areas rebuild and recover, travelers can support these communities by staying informed and continuing to visit the beautiful destinations they offer. The ongoing recovery efforts highlight the resilience and determination of the Caribbean nations to restore their vibrant tourism industry. Today in Travel is brought to you by The Adept Traveler, an award-winning travel agency that specializes in making travel easier for everyone. From the novice to the expert, from the able-bodied to the disabled traveler, it's our belief that everybody deserves to travel well. Until next time, travel well, my friends.